Hi everyone, it's Anastasia from Matryoshka Tips channel. Let's talk about something that's easy to underestimate but can change your life if you really get it. How you listen. Not just hearing someone's voice or waiting for your turn to speak, but actually being open to the idea that the person in front of you might know something you don't. That's what rule number 9 from Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life is all about. Assume that the person you're listening to might know something you don't. Now, if you've never read Peterson's book, he's a Canadian psychologist and professor who actually speaks directly to people, especially men, about how to bring more order, responsibility, and strength into their lives. And his rules aren't soft or shallow. They are grounded and they ask you to take your role in the world seriously. And this rule, it sounds maybe simple, but it calls for something that's rare today: humility. Because it's very easy, especially for men, to fall into the habit of thinking that listening is passive, that if you're not talking, you're not leading, that being quiet somehow makes you weaker. But the truth is, listening is one of the strongest things you can do, if you do it with the intention to learn, not just respond. Most people don't listen to understand, they listen to defend or to prove something or to correct. And as a woman who talks to men about growth all the time, I can tell you that I've met many good men who still struggles with this. They interrupt, they dominate the conversation, they finish people's sentences not because they are arrogant, but because they've been taught that knowledge, answers, and control are where strength comes from. But here is the shift. Real strength also comes from being teachable, from being present enough to hear what someone else is trying to say, especially when it challenges your perspective. You don't have to agree with everyone, but you have to give people the chance to show you what you might be missing. And when you do that, when you slow down, close your mouth, and actually receive what's being said, people respond differently. You will see it in their face, their energy, their willingness to trust you, because they will feel something rare, that you're not trying to win the conversation, you're trying to understand. That's where deeper friendships come from. That's where women start to trust you. That's where personal growth happens, in those quiet moments when your ego steps aside and your curiosity steps in. And the truth is, everyone knows something you don't. That includes people younger than you, people you disagree with, people who aren't as smart or don't talk the way you do. Wisdom doesn't always come with credentials. Sometimes the one sentence that changes your mindset forever comes from the person you least expect. And if you're too busy being right, you will miss it. Peterson's point is not to make you doubt yourself. It's to remind you that certainty can become a trap. When you think you already know everything, you stop learning. You walk around carrying the same set of ideas, the same patterns, and the same blind spots, and your life doesn't evolve. But when you assume that the person in front of you might know something that you don't, your world gets bigger. You start asking better questions, you become more adaptable, more grounded, and ironically more respected. Because people trust men who are present, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. And one of the fastest ways to show presence is to truly listen. You don't need to dominate every conversation to be powerful. You just need to be aware and willing to grow. So how do you do that? You start by dropping the need to always be right. That doesn't mean you stay silent forever. It just means you choose to respond instead of react. You give the other person a little more space to finish their thought. You ask one more question instead of jumping in with your opinion. You give up control over how the conversation should go, and instead you explore where it actually goes. And even if the other person says something you've heard 1,000 times, listen like you might hear it differently this time. Listen like your next insight might be hiding in that sentence. Because it might be. That's what this rule is about. Not staying passive, not avoiding your own voice, but learning to hold space for others, because that's where real learning lives. So next time someone talks to you, even if they annoy you, even if you think they're wrong, pause and ask yourself, what if he knows something I don't? What if she's saying something I've needed to hear for years, but I've been too distracted to notice? And that mindset alone will separate you from most men. And over time, it will make you wiser, stronger, and far more respected. That's it for today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, I invite you to like it, subscribe to my channel to see more content like that. I also invite you to join my Patreon, where I share exclusive content about dating online, meeting online, Eastern European women, and talking about all the secrets, understanding their culture, etc. Also, I give personal advice one-to-one in chatting, so you're welcome to join. See you in the next one. Bye.